But one of the titles on the album that, I just totally caught my attention is Southern Fried Homicide. Southern Fried Homicide. Where did that come from? That has to be something you heard one time and wrote it down, and you've just been waiting to use it.
Yeah, that was actually when they came in later, and I'm trying to think where I heard it, but I think I was just rhyming some words together, and I came up with Southern Fried Homicide. And it's funny because I'd always talk with David Austin and say, Dave, I got this title for a record, and he'd give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. And like, oh, that's great. I love it. And David loved Jeopardy Room, David Austin. And actually, we were doing demos. We tried to do a demo sometime before all this happened while Dave was still in the band, but we never finished it. And Dave loved that title, Jeopardy Room. So I was like, wow, that is a cool. But when I said I got this song title called Southern Fried Homicide, he was like, oh, that sucks. So I'm like, Scotty didn't like it either. I'm like, I love that fucking title, and it's going to be on this album. So when I heard the music that Dave Orman wrote, that rhythm, man, it's almost like an Exodus sound. It's like, dude, I love this. It's like, I can't believe they had to die. Southern Fried Homicide. Her disguise, I see eyes, higher desire, the feeble believer, sadism is the art of the teacher, terrified genocide. It's just like, I was rhyming, man. It was like busting some rhymes out, and it just felt so good,
I think
I love that song.
Yeah, shit, yeah. I think that I think that the titles and asking, a room full of people that even people you respect, and you get thumbs ups and thumbs downs or whatever. I feel like, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. It really is about what you're going to do, because they don't have any context. They're missing out the Nasty Ronnie-ness of what's going to happen when you rhyme with Southern Fried Homicide, because you turn it into a Nasty Savage song. They're missing they're just going on just an immediate face value. They're judging the book by the cover, right? They're not reading into, or they're not immediately recalling what is about to happen once the red light comes on and the song is called Southern Fried Homicide. I think that some of the, I'll make this a short story. A friend of mine a long time ago told me that he wrote a song called Pickle. Yeah. Right. And I had no idea and I said, that title sucks. I don't even want you to tell me what it's about. Was it about a dildo? Was it what? It was called Pickle. And I'm just like, I was judging the book by its cover, but there was nothing really to go on. If you come in and tell me that you're going to write a song called Doesn't Matter What It Is, I've got something to go on. So I feel like Southern Fried Homicide totally fits where you're going and where you take it, and no one really they're not able to see it yet. So yeah. I have a feeling that anyone who might have given that a thumbs down, they're not giving it a thumbs down anymore, is my point.
Well, it's
go ahead.
Words like before the dawn, the eve of the end, evoking death, she rides again, in search for the exit, the other way out. Pleasure is due when the duty is done. Searched all the sin spots where the doll of his dream. Fever believer, it is what it seems. And it's joy and sorrow today and tomorrow. What greater crime than the loss of time? Joy and sorrow today and tomorrow. It's just people go, what is that about? Is it about murder? Like the German guys are going, we think it's like redneck. Is it a redneck, like Southern Fried redneck? And I'm like, dude, it is whatever you want it to be. You could be reading the paper and you're thinking it's Southern Fried, huh? It could be anything that triggers emotion. And I can't believe they had to die. Did I just read a headline about that? Or is it really about murder? I mean, I could see a pump shotgun going off. Southern Fried Homicide. But
Yeah.
you know, it's like
Bonnie and Clyde, Southern Fried Homicide, Bonnie and Clyde.
yeah, but it could be just in your mind what's going on with Southern Fried. It could be frying chicken, man, in a big broiler.
Sure.
You know, it's like it could be anything. That's what I try to write, to leave it open. But that's one of my favorites, man. It's like
Yeah. It
Yeah.
reminds me.
David Orman just wrote a killer song. It busts into some killer rhythm.
Yeah.
And that's what I was looking for, that chunk, you know, that sound that I never really got to sing to or nothing. And it's just a groove, man. It's the rhythms will set you free, man. And that's what I try to do with this. Everything on this record is I let the rhythm set me free.
I love that lyric. There's no greater crime than the loss of time. That jumped out at me right away. I thought that was really cool. And I love that we're talking about this song because when I was listening to it, I could hear you collaborating with Ice-T. Have you ever, has there ever been any sort of talk about you collaborating with Ice-T? Because, you know, he's done Slayer and he's worked with Slayer. He's a thrash fan. And that song,
Body Count.
Yeah, Body Count. Yeah, that song in particular, Southern Fried Homicide. I'm listening to it, going, I could hear Ice-T singing this with you.
Well, that's great, man. Because I was a big fan of Ice-T back when he was a real rapper back in the day, with his first CD. I used to have Ice-T, and I would study his lyrics because there was so much blatant reality, you know, and he was probably an inspiration of mine. But I see Metallica singing Southern Fried. I could see James Hetfield, man. You know, they did Diamond Head and shit. If there's a way I could get them the song, I think they would dig it, man. I could just see, for some reason, I see James Hetfield belting out Southern Fried Homicide. You know, you cannot apologize.
Yeah.
You know, just God, you know, there's just certain things that when you hear it, you just like it. And it's just because you're never satisfied with what you do. And once you put something on a record, it's there for life, you know. But this is one I could really say that every time I listen to it, and it's got that cool guitar thing at the beginning, a slow guitar. The coolest sound is, you know, getting a drum sound when you're recording, and that the snare drum is so important to get a great sound. But right before the vocals come in, it goes on the drums, man. It's like you're inside the drum. When you hear that, it just takes your mind. Next time you listen to it, if you do, check that out. That drum thing goes boom, boom, boom. I can't believe that. And the vocals come in right after that. And then later in the song, it goes back to that real cool acoustic part, and then it does it boom again. I love that song, man. Southern Fried, and to me, it meant more to me because other people didn't like the title. So I had to prove something to myself that it was okay. It is good.
Well, that's what I was trying to convey. I mean, they don't know. No one really knows until you sing something on it, Ron. I swear to you.
Yeah, the painting is incomplete until.
That's right. You don't know. You know. I mean, what are words until they have feet and legs and monster arms and shit and 5 heads and tentacles and turn into a beast? You don't know because they don't see it yet. Southern Fried Homicide really reads like an Agony Column song. It's a great Texas band. I don't know if you recall or ever heard the band Agony Column, but they had a lot of songs like that. They had a song called 4x4. They had a lyric, I can't remember the name of the song right now, Chicken Fried Rattlesnake Possum Pie.
Oh yeah.
Which is right up your alley and right in there with Southern Fried Homicide. So yeah.
And it's not just about murder, you know. It could be just a story telling about possibly mind thinking about murder, or it could be murder. It could be. I leave it open to the people to figure it out, and I really like when they try to, because I don't even know what it is. I just put a bunch of words together that kind of tells a story. I think each song has its own identity. You know, a lot of bands, you know, you can put on track 3 and track 7 and track 10, and you go, yeah, they kind of all sound the same. That's that band. But with this, we really tried to. We didn't try to. We did. We made each one its own identity, and That's what I love about it. There's no filler in this, man. I mean, I can actually listen to this album 3 times in a row and not get tired of it. And that says a lot because that's hard to do for me.
Yeah.
I get that.
What
I love it loud too.
are you? Yeah, it sounds much better loud.
Hell yes.